Welcome, language learners, to episode 23 of Confidence Reset for multi-passionate language learners who are looking for more motivation, joy, and courage along their journey. This video is a reminder to all of us it is okay to be quiet in language learning. What do I mean by that exactly? Well, social media has left a lot of us language learners feeling constantly on display to the world, to like seeing others on display, telling and showing what we've or they've been accomplishing, especially for speaking progress for language learning. And it's fun to upload those kinds of things. Even for me, I have a lot of enjoyment with posting that kind of content for you guys. It's not a bad thing at all, right? We grow from our language learning accomplishments. There is a beautiful thing to share with others, inspiring other people, leading other people, while also validating ourselves in the process. What happens though, when we do want some kind of break, some kind of rest and recovery, and instead want to find a little bit of stillness in our language learning? What if we don't have anyone at the moment to tell about our language learning accomplishments? Or we don't get the support that we're looking for in our goals in the present moment? I'm really dedicating this to language learners who feel like there is no room for them, to not feel guilty about wanting to take sometimes a quieter approach to language learning, and to the parts of us who want to seek external validation for our language learning accomplishments. In this world of overstimulation, media in general, outside life, it's so hard to slow down. But again, we can't be operating on 100% all the time, really loudly, right? We can't expect ourselves or others to always behave and interact the same way with languages. Because again, we are always evolving behind our languages, and no one in the world is immune to that. No matter what kind of personality type you have, no matter if you thrive with people, there are always going to be times where we are going to be alone. And sometimes that just involves slowing down and being quieter, being stiller for different seasons of life. Sometimes recognition is there from outside feedback, and sometimes it's not. In college, for example, when I was a university student, yes, I had a lot of alone time in my dorm room trying to decompress, but ultimately I was surrounded by a lot of people. I always had classes and those bigger lecture halls. This was invigorating for me, even as an introvert, because I found out that people were starting to realize what I was good at. Oh wow, you're so good at languages. Oh wow, you learned this and this part of the language so fast. That kind of thing. As I got out of that environment and it was time for me to just go out in the world and see really what I wanted to do, instead of my life for the next 4 years being dictated by an outside source, that was where life got a little bit more slow, a little bit more quiet. And that also impacted my language learning, because now there weren't as many people, or really no one, to tell me how great of a job I was doing. And with those still moments, whether you choose them for yourself intentionally or not, maybe life just happens where a season is quieter for you, I want all of us to remember what is most meaningful to us is that we, first and foremost, can validate ourselves. We don't need anyone else's permission for our own accomplishments and worth to be valid as they are. Accomplishments, however big or small they are meaningful and valid because we created them as ourselves. And after all, we are stuck with our own voice inside our head for the rest of our lives. That is the one that we are going to listen most to, for better or for worse at some points. But truly, the most powerful validation comes from us. And that goes for language learning as well as outside of language learning with whatever we do. Taking validation from others to a point is extremely helpful in language learning. Getting feedback to move in the right direction with our linguistic acquisition is super motivating. But when it all comes down to it, your voice and your own opinion of your accomplishments, your own self-validation, matters most at the end of your life with what you've done. Quiet and still is also beautiful. And with that, I leave you to check out this next video for more language confidence.